How are you doing today? I hope you're having a wonderful day. I am in the heart of the Ozarks, where the trails are wild, the air is fresh, and the views are absolutely unforgettable. Today we're diving into some of the most beautiful and accessible hiking trails right here in Cherokee Village in north central Arkansas. Now, whether you're a seasoned hiker or just looking for a peaceful weekend stroll, there's a path here waiting for you. So lace up your boots, grab your water bottle, and let's hit the trails together. The first one we're going to check out is Lake Thunderbird Trail, or also known as Adahi Trail. Since we're in Cherokee Village, there's several trails that are named after Indian groups or Indian tribes. So Adahi Trail goes from town center to the Lake Thunderbird Community Center. Now this one is one of the favorites because it is right there in town center and it's an absolute gem. This trail, it's got a little bit of everything, but it does have more elevation than the other ones we're going to talk about. So it is more of a hike. You're going to be going over rocks and creeks and tree roots. So it's definitely going to make for a great workout, and you're going to have great views too, because parts of it go past Lake Thunderbird runoff. When the lake gets too high, it goes down a waterfall that then goes all the way down to town center. So depending on the time of the year that you walk this trail, you may see some waterfalls, you may see some creeks that are full, you may see some just dry beds from the not having runoff, and you may see some giant boulders where the waterfalls normally are. So it just depends on if you get some water or not. I would probably call it a moderate trail, and I am an inexperienced hiker for sure. I think it's really great for family or friends or taking your animals out, but it's going to be an invigorating walk hike. It's a little bit more strenuous, and you're going to want to make sure that you keep your eyes peeled, because you're definitely going to see some wildlife because you are in the woods. Now you're coming up behind a neighborhood on one side and some commercial buildings on the other side of town center, so you are in the middle of town. But that's another thing about Cherokee Village, that there's a lot of woods pretty much wherever you are. So you're going to want to look out for the wildlife. That's another great thing about the trails, is that you get to enjoy it. Definitely going to be tons of birds, and because you're by the water, it's going to draw a lot of things in. Like the deer, you might see a groundhog. You possibly could see some snakes, and more than likely you're going to be seeing some insects because you are in the woods, and that's generally where they like to be, under the leaves kind of. So honestly, if you only have time for one trail, this one gives you a really good taste of Cherokee Village. And if on this one you decide to start in town center, it does have a map picture that you can follow, and there's a couple different routes you can go. And I'll tell you right now, it's kind of weird because at one point you actually end up on a paved road for less than a house length, and then you come back down into the woods. But if you start in town center and go towards the Thunderbird Center, you'll end up in the parking lot of the Thunderbird Center at the end of Adahi Trail. So if you go just a few feet farther and go around by the playground equipment, and you can kind of follow another trail that will take you right to Lake Thunderbird and the Thunderbird Pier. So you can actually end up at the lake, and there's benches there, you can sit and relax. Just getting the chance to enjoy the scenery once you walk the trail, and then you can either have somebody pick you up in the parking lot, or you can decide to go back and turn around and follow the trail back maybe the other way and go back to town center. Next up, for those that just want a quick dose of nature and maybe a fantastic spot for a trail run, you have to check out Towhigh Trail. This is the newest trail to our area. It's been being developed over several years, and actually they're planning an extension to the trail right now. It's a little bit shorter because it's level and it's paved, so it'd be easier to go through it and quickly to go through it, but it's just a little loop that gets you into the woods. You're still going to have plenty of nature to enjoy, trees, and they've got bird houses and bat houses up on the trail. So it's still a definite hike through the trail, but since it's paved, it's great for wheelchairs, walkers, strollers. It's just kind of open up to more people, and like I said, it's level, so it's easier to walk on, and it's really great for morning hikes because you can just kind of clear your head and breathe in that fresh Ozark air. It is well maintained because the city is working on building it up. Another great thing about this trail is it actually has exercise stations throughout the trail. So if you didn't think that the flat walking trail was strenuous enough for you, you can actually add some exercises. And when you're done, it's a loop, but when you start and finish, there's a playground right there. So you could go work out with your kids on the playground. Again, it's got a parking lot, so you can drive right up to it. It also has a doggy poop station so you can clean up after your pets, and there's even restrooms on this location because it's got that playground. So it's really well maintained, and it does come, it's more in the area. This one is located pretty close actually to my office. It's actually that way. It's pretty close to my office. It's right near the hospital, so it's really easy to get to off of the highway, but it is still in Cherokee Village, so it's kind of more in a commercial area because there's the Elks Club there and an RV park nearby. So there's still going to be plenty of woods around you to enjoy the nature and really get out there and enjoy a good exercise, even though you're not going up the hill. Now, we did talk about that Adahi Trail does see some water, but you're going to see even more water on this last trail, which is actually off of Flathead Drive. Again, this is if you're going through town center and you go by the service station and you take that first left, that's Flathead Drive, and then you'll go over a low water bridge over the South Fork of the Spring River. And right there, as soon as you cross that bridge, there's going to be some gravel areas and parking where lots of people go swimming at the Flathead Beach in the river. But if you go across the bridge and turn left into that parking lot, that's where the Flathead Trail is. And again, this one is also a loop, but it is not paved. It's going to be a grassy trail. It's not like a Adahi Trail where you're going up and you're getting lots of rocks and roots and stuff like that. But it is a grassy trail, so you could probably do a stroller or a wheelchair if you had somebody that was really strong pushing it, because it's still going to be kind of rough going over the grass. But what's nice about this is that because that's where the entrance is, about half of the trail you're actually walking along the river. Because you're still in the woods, you may not see it the whole time, but you're definitely going to be hearing the water as you walk by. And there are parts of the trail that you can walk down to the river. The land between the trail and the river is owned by either SID or American Land Company, and that's why you can access the river at the Flathead Bridge, because it's more of a community property. It's kind of what we pay the SID assessment for, to have access to those areas. But you're gonna have a little bit of a cool breeze coming off the river, so that's kind of nice when you're walking this trail. Since it's level, it's not as hard to get around, but it's still definitely wooded, and you definitely want to be aware of any wildlife that you may enjoy seeing or not so much enjoy seeing, like some maybe snakes or something. And keep in mind, because you're by the water, that's what the animals are drawn to. So you're definitely going to probably see somebody out there that you didn't expect to see, but you're really kind of in their space because you're out there on the trail. And this is also the trail that in the past and during Harvest Fest has been used for a haunted trail. So it's definitely been used a lot by the Cherokee Village community. Who out there is a sucker for a good view? I know I am, and I know a lot of people will call us and they'll be like, I just want something with a view, whether it's a lake view or a river view or a vista view. There are a lot of really good places to have a view in Cherokee Village. We've got more rolling hills because we're in the foothills of the Ozarks rather than actual mountains. So you can actually spot a lot because we're kind of have that elevation in certain areas, and really be rewarded with some truly beautiful panoramic vistas. And because you're in that Ozark landscape, so you might see the lakes, you might see the rivers, you might see towns far away where you can see their water towers. It just depends on where you are. Now, there's some of the higher points in the village, which are most of what I can think of right now, is if you continue up Flathead Drive, you're going to be kind of at the peak of Cherokee Village, and you'll see when you're down in town center, you can see houses up in those areas. Some of the roads that you would own a house that would have a really great view would be like Cochise Circle, Flathead, Aqua, Hondo. Those are homes that I'm aware of that are actually up on that hill that you can have really good views of. So even if you're not right across the street from the lake or right across the street from the river, you could still have a really good view up on the hill. And of course, it's going to depend on the seasons too. If the trees start filling in, you're not going to be able to see as much, where during the winter when the leaves have all fallen off, you're going to have a much better view. So you can appreciate the clearing once you get up to the top, really get up there and see some of the landscapes. It really never gets old. But you do want to ask around in the community and see if there's any other places that there might be that you can really see the views better other than up on Flathead Drive. It's certainly somewhere you can drive and see the views. You don't have to own a house up there to see them. Now, every awesome hiking area has some of those little trails that aren't plastered all over the brochures, right? if you know kind of spots. And Cherokee Village is no different. But my challenge is to you, if you come to our area to do some exploring and hiking adventures, to really go out and try to find them. You can find a less traffic path, maybe a little connector trail between two amenities, or a path that winds through one another to a quieter residential area, and then you'll back into a green space. One thing about how they design the subdivisions in Cherokee Village is, especially in Fulton County, so you'd have a street come in, and often we have a lot of these dead-end streets that are trails or circles or traces. So you just have this street, and then they'll have all the lots platted along this, and they'll have, like a circle around the street. And then they'll have another one that'll have a circle. And so then, because you have these circles, you have this area behind the circles that is kind of left out, because otherwise the lots would be too big. So those areas, and you can see those on the plats, are common areas. And those are areas that are not owned by the lot owners, and they're not maintained by SID. They're just common areas. So let's just say, so you have these two traces, and then the lake's down here. Well, that common area could go all the way down to the lake, or the golf course, or the community center. So technically you could walk behind your house and then have access directly to the lakes. So these are definitely there, but again, they're wooded, and it's not like somebody created a trail. It's just that this common area is there that you can go across because you're not trespassing on someone else's property. So those would be something really to be looking for, and it's not like the subdivision plat maps are a secret. They're public. You could find a subdivision plat map, and they have the dimensions on them. So that would be something that you could really dig into an adventure and really go find, and definitely would be unexplored. And they're often where you find the most peace and solitude, because you're going to find that unexpected wildlife, because nobody goes out there. But it's going to be very thick, and it might be something you have to take a machete with and dig your way through the grass. But if you have that good map and you're going to be adventurous, just maybe play it safe. Make sure that someone knows where you are, and make sure you can find your way out again. But those are definitely areas that are unexplored. The trail people who have been putting together Towhigh Trail, I talked about making some of those areas into future trails, but we really couldn't ever get that far. Maybe through future planning and zoning, we can create some more trails throughout Cherokee Village. But right now, they're undeveloped, and that just makes some more places for you to be adventurous. And the hiking here is really phenomenal, but Cherokee Village has so much more to offer to make your trip complete. After a good hike, of course, you can cool off in one of the 7 lakes or the river if you decide to go to the Flathead Trail, or maybe if you want more activity, swimming, kayaking, fishing. There's so much you can do in the water here. And if that's not what's right for you, then you can check out the golf courses. There's tons of community events throughout the year. We really are a very friendly and welcoming community. So come for the trails, but stay for everything else. It really is a fantastic place to unwind, reconnect with nature, and then enjoy some fun activities too. Trust me, you can easily fill a weekend or even a whole week here with everything that's going on. So if you want some ideas about how to keep yourself busy while you're here, check out this video I did with activities throughout the year in our Cherokee Village area. Today we took a look at some of the incredible hiking opportunities waiting for you in Cherokee Village, Arkansas. From lakeside loops to peaceful river walks and those rewarding hilltop views, there's truly a trail for everyone here. I hope this has inspired you to get out there and experience the magic of the Ozarks yourself. Which trail are you excited to check out? Let me know in the comments below. I love hearing from you guys. Thanks for watching, and have a blessed day.